All right, let's jump into more questions today. Will you be playing the new Walking Dead Destinies game or just watching/reading about it? I've already pre-ordered it and can't wait to play it. I just wish it was up to season 5 and not 4 so that I could prevent Beth being shot. Haha. No, unfortunately, I probably will not be playing it. I am not much of a gamer, and even if I wanted to take it up just because they were Walking Dead games, which if I were going to play any of them, yes, they would be the Walking Dead games, I just really don't have the time. If I started playing Walking Dead games, I would never do another podcast because I would be too busy and too wrapped up in doing that. So, probably not. But see, the thing is, I really rely on you guys, on the people who follow me to tell me when there are clues and things like that, because that's one part of the universe that I really am not part of. So, yeah, if you see anything in the game when you get it, please let us know, and I'll post it on my account so that everybody can see what's going on. We do know that Beth will be in the game. I don't know how mainstream a character or if you'll be able to change anything about her, but I did notice that in the promos for it, there's a part where, where they're advertising that it was Shane who lived instead of Rick if you were to change that from season 2. And she is one of the characters who's sitting around the fire because she was in that episode of season 2. So she'll be in it, and it'll be interesting to see what, if any, roles she plays. It's also interesting that it goes up to season 4 rather than 5. I almost wonder if maybe once she returns, they will update it so that you can, add things on so that you can do season 5. But they just haven't done that yet because we haven't seen her return. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. When they announced this game, a lot of people were sending it to me and saying, this is interesting. They're like almost wanting you to change the way things went. And what we believe is that Beth will return and that'll change the way everybody thought things went. So it's definitely really, really interesting. So once you get the game and start playing, keep us in the loop and let us know if there's anything worth looking at when it comes to Beth. Okay. In the Rick and Michonne spinoff, do you think there will be bad blood between Rick and Jadis? Like, obviously he's going to be angry as he seemingly is trapped at the CRM and it's her fault for bringing him there. But then again, she also did save his life. She could have gone about it in better, but she still did save him. Just wondering what you think. So I think that'll be a little bit of an arc for Rick. So I think he'll be really angry with her at the beginning. And I don't think he's in the same physical place she's in because we've seen her in like the World Beyond and other places, and clearly he's not with her. What most people are thinking is that he's at one of the culling stations because he had a lot of stuff that we saw around Silas when Silas was put into one of those culling stations. So it seems like that's what they're using Rick for. I mean, it's basically manual labor. So yeah, I think that at first he'll be really angry with her for taking him there, and we might see a scene much like we did in this last Fear the Walking Dead episode where they first see each other and he, lunges at her, tries to kill her or something. But it also could be that eventually he'll come to realize that she at the time was in a place of great loss because she had just lost all of her people and she was trying to survive emotionally and she was trying to start over and she was kind of desperate. And that doesn't mean that anything she did was at all okay or moral, but she was also in a really dark place. And, it could go back to the theme from right after Beth was shot that it went the way it had to, the way it was always going to, because you're right that it probably did save Rick's life. And so he might realize that at some point that if she hadn't taken him, I mean, it could be that he had kind of what would have been a mortal wound. So even if Michonne and Daryl, if there was no Jadis anywhere in the equation and Michonne and Daryl had come and find him, he still would have died because they wouldn't have had the resources at Alexandria to save him. But by taking him to the CRM, they do have better resources and were able to save him. So that could definitely be a thing. And so that's why it had to go that way. There's also the idea that there's going to end up being a huge CRM war, and Rick being on the inside for a while will allow him to know his enemy and help eventually for them to win that war. Whereas if that had never happened, maybe they wouldn't, So, yeah, I think we'll see both. I think we'll see him being angry at Jadis, and then I think eventually we'll see him forgiving her and understanding that there were bigger forces at play, that maybe she was as much of a pawn as he was. And it'll just be interesting to see how that plays out. It's going to be one of those really lightning in a bottle moments, I think, if we get Rick and Michonne. I would love to see Michonne try to kick Jadis's butt for it. Anyway, Rick and Michonne and Jadis and maybe Father Gabriel all in the same room and have them all stare at each other. Like, that's going to be a loaded moment, and I look forward to what they do with that. So, yeah, it's a fun thing to think about. Have you seen the crazy amount of Beth content Emily has been posting on her Instagram lately? It's so random. First, she did a story where a fan was dressed up as Beth. Then she did a post about her co-star on The Walking Dead who needs help right now. Probably unrelated since it's a real issue. And then she posted a random picture of a drawing of Beth to her story. Yes, I did see all of those. Mostly because people sent them to me. But yeah, so I think just to kind of play the devil's advocate here, some of it does have to do with the fact that she just attended a con in Kentucky. And so she was getting a lot of fans who were cosplaying and who were giving her things, you know, coming up to her and at her booth, and she was signing things for them. And so that's probably where a lot of it comes from. But yeah, even so, it was really fun to see. And it does feel a little bit suspicious that she's been posting so much of it. She did post that Erik Jensen has unfortunately been diagnosed with cancer, and so she really does want to help him. And I hope that he's all right and that he can get through that illness. And if anyone can help him, they should. She has links on her Instagram where you can contribute to. I think she's got a fund going for him to help with the cost and everything. So I really like him. I hope he's okay and that he comes through that okay. But yeah, I think it's both. I think that you can find a logical reason for why she's doing it, but then I've always said too that I think the actors find reasons to post Team Delusional stuff, and they don't just post it willy-nilly. They will find reasons to post it so that if anyone asks them about it, they kind of have like plausible deniability. So, you know, it could just be Emily taking a picture and being like, I'm on vacation, I saw this and thought it was cute, but it just so happens to be something that is a huge Beth symbol. So people will say, no, you're reading into stuff. She was just on vacation and thought it was cute. And maybe that's true. But I also think that she looks for reasons. She looks for things that she can post that promote the idea of Beth and Beth's return, but she only does it if she has another reason to do it so that she can't be thought of as suspicious. And of course, we think of it as suspicious anyway. So I think this is another one of those things. I think because she went to the con, she had really good reason to post some Beth stuff, and so she did. And we're grateful. We like that. But yeah, so anyway, it's just something we can't prove, but I'm with you in that I think it's suspicious anytime they post anything like that. And I am all for her posting all the best stuff that she wants. So thank you for that. Okay, so here's another one about Erik Jensen. Erik Jensen, who played Dr. Stephen Edwards in the flagship show from the episodes Slabtown Crossed and Coda, was recently diagnosed with a pretty nasty stage 4 cancer. Ooh, I didn't know it was stage 4. Oh, yikes, that's rough. Hopefully you can spread awareness by sharing this on your YouTube video and send some prayers to him and his family for healing and beating cancer. Love you all, TDers, XOXO. Yeah, love you too. Yeah, this is rough. I hope that he can come through it okay. So I will try to remember to link. But see, I don't even know what it is off the top of my head. I know that Emily put it on her Instagram, so it might just be easiest for me to link to her Instagram, but I will look into it and see if we can link to what she was promoting as a way to help support him. So yeah, it's something, any little bit helps, and if anybody can help support him, it would be really, really helpful. But it was really super nice to see, because Emily wasn't the only one who posted. I know that Gimple posted something for him, and I think a couple of others did too. So it's just nice to see the TWD family coming together for something like that and helping out a former cast member. And like I said, I hope he comes through it okay. So thank you for sending that in. All right, this one's a long one. I've been following you for 2 years now, and because of your Daily Asks videos, I've been reflecting on the impact you've had on me as a Bethyl fan. You and your friends have single-handedly given me more hope and excitement for TWD than I've had in a long while. Yay! I'm always happy to hear that. I started following you 2 years ago, and I remember still being so skeptical despite your analysis. It's just really in my nature, but also past experiences from franchises I loved. Yeah, I get it. To not get my hopes up ever, despite how good some things might be looking for my faves or ships. But I gradually got more interested in TWD again and started rewatching plus catching up on the series. And and now this year I started watching the spin-offs because of your analysis posts. I had previously thought that I'd already been a critical watcher for TV shows and movies, but you showed me there's always more to see, and now I'm having fun keeping an eye on the details in TWDU too. It's made viewing and understanding the series more fun and easier to understand after spotting the patterns you've pointed out. I wouldn't have been able to imagine or fathom just how much thought really does go into these productions. It's really lovely to see all these details, and they're mostly narrowed down to Bethyl segments only. To think what else they hide and place for the rest of the cast too, it's really mind-blowing. At any rate, thank you and your friends for all your contributions. I have the most hope and excitement for Beth's return than I've ever had before. I really cannot wait for S2 of Daryl Dixon. Also, I have a bet going on with my little brother. We haven't settled on any stakes yet. I will gladly take suggestions. But I can't wait to win when Beth returns, because now I'm convinced she will, and it's only a matter of time until he gets proven wrong. Okay, so I love everything about this. This just made me smile. Thank you so much for all of your praise. I really appreciate it, and I know my friends will too. Honestly, we do this because we love it, because we're all geeks, and in the best way. Like, I say that with absolute love, and I will absolutely own my geekness. But the first thing that jumped out at me is when I love that you said it's made viewing and understanding the series more fun and easier to understand after spotting the patterns you've pointed out. I don't get this as much anymore, but a few years ago, I remember getting several comments, and maybe they were all from the same person that was just kind of being a troll, but getting comments of people saying that they basically were annoyed at my analysis, and they would say things like, don't you just want to sit back and watch the show and enjoy it? Like, why do you have to do all this work around it? And for me, like, that was kind of mind-boggling for me. If I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't do it, because it is a lot of work. I do it because I love it, and it does make the show more enjoyable for me, and it makes viewing it and understanding it more fun, like you said, and giving us something to watch for. I think that's why a lot of people have dropped off at points in the series and said, they got a little bored with things, maybe during season 8 or after Rick left, or whatever the case may be. But this is really what's kept me watching it, is looking for the symbolism and these, doing these theories. And I've just had a blast doing it. And yeah, I mean, me and my fellow theorists always say that about the writers. It's just mind-blowing, the detail they put in and how they can keep track of everything and how they can do all these callbacks. But I'm also somebody who believes that what happens behind the scenes really comes through in the show. And it may not come through in a literal way necessarily, but the vibe that's going on behind the scenes, it will be communicated through the show to the fans. So you can have TV shows or movies where the story's really good, but there's just something about it that doesn't hold anybody's attention. And then you find out that everybody who worked on the show hated each other, and there was fighting and all this stuff going on, right? Well, we know the opposite is true of The Walking Dead. The actors all love each other, and they love their jobs, and they love being there. And I feel like, for the most part, the production and the writers really respect the actors. They allow them to have some input on where their characters are going, and they always talk about how they're a family. And that really, more than anything else, is why the show has been so long running, because it might not be anything we can put our fingers on, but there's just something about it that keeps us coming back to it. And I actually do believe that the symbolism is a big part of that. Now, not everybody can see it. Obviously, most people don't sit around analyzing the symbolism, but I believe it's something that works on a subconscious level. And when that much time and effort and love is being put into the story and into the symbolism and into the callbacks and into the foreshadowing and everything that they do, it just makes the story better in a way that a lot of fans can't articulate. They just know that it's really good, But with all that said, we also do know that there are a lot of people who, they don't analyze to the same level that we do, but they still do look for callbacks, and they still do look for ties to the comics, and they still do look for little nods to, other horror movies that Nicotero has done. Because they tell us to look for these things, there are a lot of fans that do, and that keeps them watching as well. So I really do appreciate everything that you said. I completely agree. That's why I do it, because I love it, and I love finding this stuff, and I love looking for this stuff, and I think it makes it really fun. I also can a little bit identify with what you said about your brother. I don't really have any bets going with any of my siblings, but I do know that none of them believe me that she's coming back. So I look forward to the day that she does, and that I can send them all a picture of Beth on screen and do a little evil laugh. That will be a very satisfying day. So I don't know how old your little brother is. If he's young, I would say maybe do stakes based on, I don't know, candy, bet him a bag of candy or something. If he's older and has money, then definitely you can ask for more, but it just depends on where you both are in life. But either way, have fun with it. be nice to him, but have fun with it too. And yeah, thank you so much for your ask. That really made my day. All right, I think I'm going to call it there for today, but I will be back with more tomorrow. Bye.